Patterson with the Handyman Toolbox, talking to you today about how to change a thermal coupling on a gas water heater. Alright, some of the tools that you're going to need is a, well, in the day we used to call this a monkey wrench. It's actually a crescent wrench, and if you don't know what that looks like, I'm going to show this to you here real quick. Now, this is adjustable, so you can just turn to open and close the mouth of the crescent wrench. The next tool that you're going to need is basically what I call some pipe thread sealant. And this is once you remove the original thermal coupling, and then when you install everything before you make that connection, you want to put this compound around the threads, and what it'll do, it'll seal the threads. That way you don't have any gas leaks whatsoever. So now I'm going to show you first off some safety tips in dealing with removing a thermocouple coupling and any kind of precautions that you need to take a look at. Okay, first off, you want to find the gas supply, and this gas supply here leads down to the thermal coupling in the unit that we're going to turn everything off with. So you want to come over here and just turn this perpendicular. Sometimes they'll stop, sometimes they won't, but you make sure that it's perpendicular right here, so crossways. And I don't think this is, yeah, that's all the way off there, so that works there. The next thing you want to do is make sure that the unit's turned off. So the line here is the indicator, and this is in the off position, so we're safe there. The next item you want to do, let me see if I can get to it. Also, you want to make sure that the gauge is turned completely off, and sometimes it's to some places it's called vacation or whatever, but you want to turn it down to the most lowest setting, and so when you do that, just turn it counterclockwise. Alright, and what happens is when you get ready to ignite the pilot light and everything like this, if you have it up high, the gas flame will kick up immediately once you turn it on, so you don't want that to happen at all. So I'll walk you through this particular part when I'm finished on how to turn it back on. Okay, there are 3 lines coming out here. I'm going to move this around a little bit just to make sure you can see it out of the box. You want to go ahead and this thin copper, then you have a thicker, looks like aluminum, and then another aluminum line coming down. You want the copper line to disconnect there. This is your gas line, your main gas line to the flame itself. This is the pilot line, and then you have the thermal coupling. So we're going to disconnect this from right up here, and you want to go ahead and take that off. Now I've got my finger on the bracket itself, and this unscrews counterclockwise from the bracket itself. So we're going to go ahead and remove it. Now we removed the thermal coupling, and we're ready to go ahead and install the new one. Okay, so this is what it looks like coming out, and it's all curled up to fit in the package, of course. You want to make sure that you're very gentle and slow in straightening out the coil. And what I'll do is go ahead and put the joint compound on here. So we'll just squeeze out a little bit right here, and just to where you can see what I'm doing. Just cover that right there and make sure that the threads get well saturated, okay? So that's that part there. Now what we're going to do is take this particular part, the end, and put it up in its place, and then when you install this, you want to make sure that you start screwing this in. You want to go clockwise. So now that we've got that installed, we're going to tighten this down, and again you turn this to the right going in. Now we'll take our pliers and tighten that up. Now, once that's secured, we're going to come back and do a leak test in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and get everything in place. Now, again, when you're unfurling this, you don't need to, you got to be very, very careful of not crimping the copper wire. So there's a clip right here I'm going to put in, and I'm going to put this on the end of this coupling to make sure that it stays in place. Alright, now that I've got that on, you can see that right there, the new clip where my thumb is. I'm going to go ahead and route this in. Again, be very, very, very careful not to mess up. I'm just going to take it like so. So now that I've got this ready to go into the clip, I'm just going to go ahead and push it straight on in. And let me show you how that goes. Okay, so what we're going to do here is go ahead and insert the thermal coupling into the bracket. Alright, now that the thermal coupling is back in place, everything's sealed up the way it should be, we're going to do our gas leak test. What you do here is go back over to the gas line that's coming in and feeding everything. You want to turn it back straight up, and that right there means it's on. And we've got some cleaner here, and I'm going to spray this one particular area just to make sure. Any kind of soap or anything like that will tell you if there's any gas leaks or anything. And that's what you want. That's the area you want to look at right there. There's no bubbles that I can see. We're going to turn the gas on completely to the unit with the thermal coupling, and if I see any bubbles, then we've got a leak, so we've got to fix it. If you see no bubbles coming out, then you know you're okay. Alright, so we're ready to go ahead and turn the gas on for the pilot. You're going to reach over and turn this to pilot here to the indicator. My indicator is right here where my thumb is. Push this down. You have to take it and hold it, and at the same time you're going to have to strike a match. Now it's suggested here, as you push this down, you hold this and listen for the gas, and the pilot's now lit, so we're going to hold it for 1 minute. I'll give you an idea. There's the flame. Now when you let your thumb off or your finger off the pilot light, you're going to lift it up, and if it stays lit, then it's good. And it's still lit there. Now with that lit, you're going to go ahead and turn this particular on. Now it's in the on position, and very cautiously, I'll tell you what we want to do. let's go ahead and put the shield back on. So we're going to set it into place. The shields are probably the most trickiest part of the whole gizmo here. Now we're going to go back up here, and you're going to turn this on and listen for it to kick in. And you just heard that part, and there's the flame down at the bottom. You can see that going on. Now once that's done, you want to go through an entire cycle. So in other words, I've got it on warm right now, and I don't want to keep it on warm forever because we want hot water, not warm water. So I'm going to let this kick up. I'm going to let it kick off. I'm going to check it one more time down at the thermal area right down here, and to make sure it kicks back on once it's gone through its heating cycle, to make sure that my thermostat is in the proper position, that everything is working properly before I'm finished with the job. Everything's normal now. Make sure that you put the shield back on its proper place. What this does is just shield anything from getting up against that. As while I'm talking about that, make sure that there's nothing around that's going to, no flammables inside where a gas flame is to begin with. So check the room out, make sure there's nothing. We have some plastic over here that's not going to be hurt at all. So you want to make sure there's nothing flammable inside the room where your water heater is. This has been Rick Patterson with the Handyman Toolbox, talking to you about how to install a thermocouple on a gas water heater.
Yeah.